Hello everybody, welcome back to my little YouTube channel. This is a bit of a jinxed video. I've tried recording 5 times now. It's just not working. The camera's not playing. So anyway, this video is regarding what happens when your Range Rover Evoque breaks down, because that's what happened to us not long ago. If you've seen my previous video with my latest update on the car, I did mention this video a couple of times, so I'm going to film it now. It will be briefer than the other ones because I've done it that many times now. The first one was blurry and then the camera failed, etc. So anyway, long story short, Stephen, his mother and myself went up to Loch Lomond a couple of weeks ago. So we were staying in Loch Lomond, went to Oban for the day, which is, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours away. Had a nice time in Oban, went to the car started, etc. But the handbrake was locked on, and it's a electronic handbrake. Couldn't get the car to start. So we pressed the button in the car. I'm going to show you a little video now of what the button in the car looks like. There's a button in the car to press for the breakdown company. There's another button to press for emergencies. I think that's if you have anything serious happens or anything. So press the button, spoke to somebody at Land Rover. They sent a breakdown person about, I don't know, less than an hour. It was quite quick. Less than an hour somebody came. It was a local recovery company. He plugged his diagnostics machine in. The car's display itself said that the problem was the handbrake, which it was. It said the handbrake's locked on and it was safe to drive, but he couldn't drive the car, so that wasn't going to happen. So the guy plugged his diagnostics machine in. It said it was the drivetrain, which I think is more of a serious problem. Looked under the bonnet, took the cover off, unplugged the battery, plugged it back in, thought it might give it a kickstart. It didn't work, so he said he had to go to another job, but he said he'd be back later on. So we rang Land Rover again by pressing the button. It just goes through a phone line, really. It's probably a SIM card in the car or something. Spoke to them again. They said the guy was going to sort out to have the car taken away. What they wanted to do was leave the car where it was until Monday. This was a Saturday. It says we don't want to leave it by the side of the road for 2 days. Plus, we were in a paid parking space and you could only park there for 2 hours. We'd already been there 2 hours, but we saw the parking guy and he was very, very helpful actually. He said, don't worry, we're not that bad in Scotland, we won't give you a ticket if you're broken down. He said, pop a note in your windscreen, tell it just to say on the note that you're broken down, it'll be fine. But again, we didn't really want to leave the car there for 2 days. So anyway, the guy came back again, we handed him the key, he was going to take it somewhere, leave it there until Monday when it would be fixed. So we did that. Land Rover, we spoke to them again. Land Rover arranged a taxi for us from Oban. If you look on a map where Oban is and where Loch Lomond is, it's quite a way away. They organised a taxi from there. It was £150 for the taxi. So Land Rover paid for that, so that was brilliant. We got to our Loch Lomond house, but the next day we were leaving to come back to Newcastle. So Land Rover had arranged for a hire car to come from Glasgow Airport to the house before 10 o'clock, before we got chucked out of the house that we were just renting, and travelled back home. 10 o'clock came, nothing happened, so we rang Land Rover. They told us that they weren't going to send a car. We had to get to Glasgow Airport to pick up the hire car, which wasn't what they said they were going to do. So we rang the people that own the house we rented, the company that we rented from. They said it's fine to stay another hour or so and then we can be on our way. So the taxi came, took us to Glasgow Airport, really nice taxi driver, £45 journey paid by Land Rover. And this is when we got the Range Rover Velar. We picked up the Velar, which I said on the last video, there was no more space in it than there was in the Evoque. Bigger bonnet, massive boot, but the actual car inside didn't feel any bigger. So we got that. Stephen went on his app to find out where the car was, because we wanted to go back to our car to pick up all of to clear it out, really, just to make sure there's nothing left in it. So we did a bit of a detour around Loch Lomond, saw the sights, went to the car, remotely unlocked the car with the app. This is when the app does work, it's really, really good. Took everything out of the car that we needed, and then we continued with our day. That was our final day. We were travelling home. So went around Loch Lomond, had a nice day, me, Stephen and his mother, Viv. Had a lovely day in Loch Lomond, drove home. So we got home. The car, there's a problem with the car, the heating didn't work, so it was freezing cold and it's blasting out cold air, but the car was okay. Got home, Stephen, so this was a Saturday, the car had been left in the public car park where the recovery people parked their vans. There was like, the big flatbed truck things, they were in the same place. So that's where the car was left from Saturday until Monday when it was picked up by Land Rover. So we got home all hunky-dory, all fine, happy about that. Stephen contacted Land Rover. They said it was going to get picked up and actually taken to Edinburgh. We thought it was going to Glasgow, but it went to Edinburgh. And then Stephen spoke to the Edinburgh Land Rover dealer who was getting it fixed, and they said they were going to fix it and bring it back to Newcastle. So this was, I think, Monday, I think it was. We either got it back the Tuesday or the Wednesday, so the service was brilliant. They brought it all the way back to England for us, dropped the car off, and in the meantime, Stephen took the Velar, drove it to our local airport where there's the hire company, left it with the hire company, and he got public transport back to the house. Then we got the car back that day, which I think was the Tuesday or the Wednesday, so the service was really good. So that's just a very quick recap. As I say, it's shorter than the other versions I've just recorded because I'm not going to speak it again and again and again. Plus you probably preferred it's a little bit shorter. So the pros and cons were, every time you spoke to Land Rover it was a different person, and they didn't really know the story, and they didn't listen that well because we said where the car was, and they thought we were staying in a hotel, but we were parked opposite the hotel. So there was a few things like that. When he rang them, they didn't really know what they were doing. It is probably a different scenario because we were away from home, and where we were away from home was away from the house we were staying on this holiday. So that probably threw them a little bit, but they did everything they were supposed to do, although they didn't send the hire car to the house in Loch Lomond, but that was all sorted. The pros of it were, it was all paid for by Land Rover. It was all done without any deposits or anything, even the taxis. So there was a £150 taxi, there was I think a £45-ish taxi, there was a hire car, didn't have to pay for any insurance or anything in the hire car, and then the car came back very quick. So the service overall was good. If this does happen to you, just be very clear with them when you speak to Land Rover about what they are going to do, where they're going to take the car, where they're going to get you a taxi to and from, etc., just to make sure that it does all go smoothly. So we've got the car back now, it's all fixed. They have done the 2 recalls that I mentioned on the last video, so fingers crossed everything's hunky-dory with the car. So we're quite happy with it. So at the time when it was happening, it was traumatic, you know, just like every breakdown, it's the worst thing ever. But because it came back hunky-dory, it's all fine, everything's fixed, we're quite happy with it now. I hope you enjoyed that little video just outlining what happens if you do break down in the new Evoque. I've never seen a video like this before online, so I thought I'll give it a try, just do a quick little video, it might be helpful for some people. Remember, because there's a girl at work's got the Velar, she doesn't know about the 2 buttons, so remember the left-hand one in the Evoque is to call the emergency, well, call the breakdown company. The one on the right is to call the emergency services. I think that's if you have a big crash or something. So just bear those in mind if you have got one of these cars. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I'll be doing more of these videos in the future. I've been doing them not as regularly as I promised I was going to do, but I will be doing more of them if anybody's interested in them. So anyway, thanks for watching everybody. Take care. Bye bye for now.